In this lesson 2.2, students will learn how to find the slope of a line and then be able to use that slope to analyze problems. So let's just remind ourselves the slope of a line, this is our line, it really is looking at this right here. So to find that, we are going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And where these are going to come from are your coordinates here. So you're going to take the second y, you're going to subtract the first y, and then you're going to take your second x and subtract the first x. Now if you are given a graph, you're just going to count rise over run. So you're going to count how many units up and down, and then you're going to count how many units across. So this one's giving us the coordinates. So we're going to take our second y and subtract the first y, and then our second x minus the first x. And we're just going to do our math. Negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. A negative divided by negative is a positive, which means our picture of a graph would be rising. Positive 2/5 rising. Positive number means you rise. Same idea here. So we're going to go negative 4 minus negative 5. 3 minus negative 2. Okay, minus negatives become plus plus. And because it's a positive answer, we're going to be rising. Negative 3 minus 7, where it's always a minus sign. Negative 2 minus negative 5. Plus plus. Because our whole answer here is negative, our line would be going downward, which means we would be falling. If the slope equaled 0, then our line would be called horizontal. And if our slope is undefined, then it would be vertical. How do you know which one you're going to get? Well, in order for the slope to be positive, in order for the slope to be a 0 here, you would have to have a 0 in the numerator, and I don't care what number is here. It could be any number down there. An undefined slope results when you have a 0 in the denominator, and again, I could have any number up top. This one is a more intense question because they're not asking you to straight out get the slope. They already gave it to you. You need to work backwards to get one of the missing coordinates. So we're going to do our y2 minus y1. 4 minus 6, x minus negative 3. Like we normally would, make that a plus. But instead of in the past, we'd actually go through and find the answer. They're giving us the answer. They said it is 3. So we're going to put that on the other side of the equal sign now. And then we're just going to cross multiply. So 4 minus 6 is really a negative 2. So here's my problem. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. 3 times x and 3 times 3. And then we're just going to go through and solve. And go ahead and divide by 3. So our x is negative 11/3. Now steeper, let's talk about steepness. So here's one line, and then here's another line. Which one's steeper? Okay, the one that looks more up and down. But how do we figure that out without graphing? We are going to look for the bigger number, and we are going to ignore whether it's a positive or a negative sign, just the actual number itself. So we're going to go through here. 4 minus 5, 1 minus 3. That slope is positive 1/2, which is 0.5 in case you're not good with fractions. Let's do this slope. 4 minus 3, 3 minus 2, 1 over 1, which is 1. Which number here is bigger? This one is. So which line is steeper? We would say line 2 is steeper. Now we are going to talk about how to graph lines. So remember, we start with this number. That's our y-intercept. It goes on the y-axis. This is our slope, and we want it in a fraction so that we can do our rise over our run. We're going to rise the top number, so from the point you already drew, go up 2 more points, and then go over 3. And if you want to do it again, 1, 2 up, 1, 2, 3 over, there's your line. Parallel lines would look like this. They have the same slope. Perpendicular lines look like this. They kind of cross, have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. So let's talk about that. Parallel lines, here's our symbol for parallel lines. If one slope is 3/4, then the other slope is also 3/4. Perpendicular lines, here's your symbol for perpendicular. If one slope is 3/4, then the perpendicular slope would be -4/3. So you flip it and make it the opposite sign. So if we were to multiply, product means multiply, the slopes of these two perpendiculars, our answer would be -1. Let's check it. 3/4 times -4/3 is -12/12, which is -1. So if they're asking us to find out parallel, perpendicular, or neither, we need to go through and find the slope. So 8 minus 7, 3 minus 5. Next one, 1 minus -1, 6 minus 5. Alright, so if I take this one, these are obviously not the same, so they're not parallel. But if I take this and I flip it upside down, it becomes 2/1. And I take the opposite sign, right now this whole thing's negative, I make it positive. There you go. So these ones are called perpendicular. So 4 minus -4, 0 minus -2. Next one, 3 minus 7, 0 minus 1. Since these are identical, we say that these are parallel.